Hi, this is Sophie Mihalko, and today we are talking about getting out of overwhelm. So, if you don't know me, I am what we call an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator. Basically, I am a life coach, but I have very, very unique tools. And some of those tools require us to be aware of everything around us and also the energy and how we can change the energy of things. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today. Today, we're going to look at how we can change the energy of what's going on around us so that this feeling that we have of overwhelm disappears. Okay, so I have somebody who is going to join us and chat with me as well, but she is having a hard time joining us. So Emily, if you can hear me, when you start the Zoom app, you need to pick your sound. Okay. All right. Hopefully she will get on to it. All right. So why did I pick this subject? Well, actually, Emily and I were talking, and there's a lot of things going on in the world these days, in our private lives, that it's very easy to say, okay, it's too much. I'm getting overwhelmed and I don't know what to do. I am powerless, right? Like right now, it was a couple of days ago, there was a shooting in a high school in Florida. And for those of us who live in America, it's a very frustrating situation because it feels like it keeps happening and nothing is being done. So a lot of us are overwhelmed by this sense of what can we do to change this? Now, yes, of course, the laws and the government can change this probably, but I feel also ourselves, individuals, we can change something as well too. But first, let's look at the feeling of overwhelm. So overwhelm means that somehow we have decided there's a bigger energy than us. Somehow it's so big that we don't have the power anymore. We can't change anything. We can't do anything, right? But it is a feeling, and a feeling is something that results from the thoughts. It's very complex, it's very heavy and dramatic, and the feeling will not create anything that you want to have in your life. It just won't. Oh, Jessica is here twice. So the feeling of overwhelm is its job is to disempower you. Its job is to make you think there is something greater or bigger than you. So if you do feel that, you have to ask yourself, okay, what is it that I think is so big and so powerful that it takes my power to change it? So if we look at the shooting that happened in the high school, a gun feels like this big powerful thing that we don't have control about. And it's funny because I realized that I always tell people, nobody can force you to do anything except if they put a gun to your head. So even when I say that, I acknowledge that usually a gun, because it can take life away, a gun will force you to do something you don't want to do. But what if we actually looked at that energy? What if we looked at that energy, even of the gun or the government or the people around you, that you can control that? But what energy can you be around that so that one, you're never put into that situation, and two, the people that are using those don't feel like using them? What energy can you be? What space can you be that would make actually that situation dissipate and disappear or change? And that's the issue. No, I'm sorry, that's not the issue. That's what we need to consider today, is if it is something that is overwhelming, is because you are not asking yourself, what can I do to change this? Now, I'm not saying to fix it, and I'm not saying that you're going to repair every situation that there is out there that is bad or not good enough for you. What I'm saying is there is a change that can occur. And if you don't decide ahead of time what it's going to look like, that overwhelm will go away. Okay. Um, okay, so when you look at overwhelm, you have to really take the time to acknowledge where you are taking your own power away. Once you acknowledge that, then you can ask, okay, what can I change here? Now, you're not making yourself wrong, please. The first thing is, you're not wrong. You're not wrong for what happened. You're not wrong for not changing it if it doesn't change. You're not wrong for any of it. And when I say that, I mean it, because I'm the first one to be like, man, with all the work that I do in the world, this still happens, right? Even though I probably never interacted with the person who shot, I'm responsible. I am at fault here. Yeah, we all do that. But what if there was nothing wrong with you? What if you being you is simply what's required for changing things? So there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. So it's not because it happened that you're at fault, or that it's not because the situation is overwhelming, or there's no money in the bank, or you're exhausted and you can't create what you want to create. It's none of it. It's not there's nothing wrong with you. None of it means there's nothing. I mean, none of it means that there is something wrong with you. Not at all. So that's the first step. The second step is, okay, so this is occurring. How do I change it? How do I change it? How do you individually change it? Even if it's, I don't know, let's say there's a tsunami in Japan. How do you change this? Now, you may not be able to change the tsunami. It's gone. It's over. But what energy can you be so the people who were hurt by the tsunami are thriving anyway? Like what energy is required of you right now to change things around? A long time ago, I was driving in downtown LA, and there had been a protest in the streets of downtown LA. There were like thousands and thousands of people in the street. So there was a lot of cars. We were all kind of packed. And there were the TVs were there. And there was this guy who was wrapping cables. And I could tell that he was exhausted, right? He was exhausted because he had probably been doing this for the whole day, wrapping cables. And I looked at him for a moment and I smiled. I smiled at him. I didn't say anything. I just smiled. And he gave me the biggest smile back. And then I saw how his body straightened up. And he just calmed down and he continued to do his job with a smile on his face because I smiled to him. Then that's the change. Imagine when he goes home, instead of getting upset at his kids for not doing their homework or something like this, then maybe he'll be more relaxed and maybe he'll have a greater time with his kids. And the kids the next day at school will not be stressed because their dad was not stressed, etc., etc. You don't know what the ripple effects will be. But if you choose in this moment to be you, to be the energy that is required for change will occur. I promise you. Okay. So thank you for those of you who are joining me today. I'm very happy that you're here. I know some of you are having trouble with the sound, so I know that you may not be able to speak. But if you do have questions about anything related to this topic, just go ahead, either raise your hand or let me know that you have questions, and I'm happy to talk to you about any of it. Okay, so I want to go, I know that one of the things that with me is sometimes I forget the basic stuff. So I want to go back to the basic stuff. Sometimes the overwhelm is not obvious. So you're not necessarily aware that you're giving your power away. And what I would like to do is I would like to first encourage you to be aware of how you're functioning and how you're being in the world right now, today, in this 10 seconds. So the way we're going to do this is I'm going to ask you to really be present with your body right now. I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, where is your head? Where are your shoulders, your arms, your feet? How's your back? And just stay present. Now, as you become present with your body, you may sense some tension, maybe some parts of your body that is uncomfortable. Maybe it's stress, like something in your stomach or in your throat or your head, you can't stop thinking about something, just be present with that. Don't judge it. Don't say, here I go again. No, don't judge it. Just be present with it. And once you be present with it, ask yourself, okay, so what is this? What is this? And as you ask yourself, your body will tell you. When you ask, what is this? You may get a sensation, a word, an image, a memory, whatever, a sound, whatever happens. But if you ask, what is this? You'll know. And then you can say, okay, so whatever that is this something that I can change? And if so, how do I change it? By the way, these 4 questions work for everything. What is this? Can I change it? And if so, how do I change it? Okay. So ask, can I change it and how do I change it? Is there something you cannot change? Well, no, really, there's nothing you cannot change. However, for instance, if it's a memory or the past, right? So supposedly you can change the past. Let's say that there was a tsunami and you lost somebody in tsunami, or there was a shooting and you've been affected by a shooting in the past, all of that. What happened may not change, but how you are with it, that can change. So even if you think you cannot change it, ask yourself, okay, what part of this can I change, right? And if so, how do you change it? And it is so much more simple than what we've been made to think. Yes, well, like once again, if you have anything to do with the government, please go and do what you do best, because I do believe that the government can make change. However, if you're not connected to the government, don't feel like you can't do anything about it. And really ask, okay, so what can I do today that will prevent this in the future? What can I do today so that people don't feel like grabbing guns, but instead call up a friend, or instead have a place to go and express themselves, or feel like they're actually understood, right? So for me, one of my missions in life is to remove judgment from the world. It's a big one because the whole world functions from judgment. I remember actually saying this to a gentleman at a conference one day, and he looked at me like I was the craziest person on earth. And he said, but we need judgment. So there is a big part of the world who thinks that they need judgment, that without judgment, we would go crazy. The world will fall apart. Is that true, really? Or is judgment actually what prevents us from seeing what's true, what's possible? I think so. Now, judgment can be positive or negative, but you've got to really look at where judgment is in your life. If you want to change something in the world, something that overwhelms you right now, you have to ask what place judgment plays in your own life, right? So do you function because people judge you? Or do you have a strong desire to help people get rid of judgment? Oh my gosh, all my friends are joining. Hi, guys.
Hello.
So when you look at judgment, it doesn't matter if it's a big part of your life or just a tiny bit that you think. Any part of judgment, whether you are fighting it or not fighting it, just look at what you can change around judgment. Is it possible that maybe you judge judgments? Okay, so if you judge judgments, that's not going to help, right? That's another way of getting overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, everybody's judging everybody. It's crazy. Okay, that's not going to help either. That's another way to lose your power, to lose the ability to change something. Don't judge judgment. Judgment is just judgment. Notice it. Receive it. Know where it is. Know who's judging you. Maybe you're judging yourself. Receive that. Don't judge yourself because you're judging yourself, right? Just receive. Okay, cool. I'm judging myself. How cool is that? Just be aware of what place judgment has in your world. You know, if you actually spend some time, you'll you'll discover that there are parts of your life that you don't even want to look at. Something that maybe you tell people, oh, it's fine. Like, yeah, I should work out, but my body's fine. Or, yeah, my boyfriend and I, we're fine. We haven't had sex in 6 months, but we're fine. Or like those places where you think is fine, there's probably a judgment somewhere out there that's like creating that fine. Because you should be having a phenomenal life, you know? If it was me, you would be amazing, awesome, phenomenal every day, and every day greater and greater and greater. Fine doesn't do it for me. It's just, whatever. Fine doesn't work. So if you take the time to look at all the judgments and how you function from judgments, or how you want to avoid judgments at all costs, then you'll see those places that you've been avoiding. That's called being uncomfortable. Now you're going to start getting into the zone. So you notice something by getting overwhelmed. And now you're going to be able to go into the zone where you actually can change something by being different. And that's where you get into what other people call uncomfortable. But for me, it's just change. The reason why it seems uncomfortable is just because you don't know yet what it's going to look like. Change is just change. You can't decide ahead of time, oh, I'm going to make the change be that way. No, because then you've already told the universe, oh, yeah, I know better than you. This is how it needs to change. It doesn't. You know, I appreciate all the conversations around the shooting, like finding the answer. But it's not about finding the answer. It's about asking the questions that are going to give us the awareness. And that awareness will be valid for 10 seconds. And then we'll have to ask another question and another question and another question. Okay, one thing that I want to mention too, especially for those of us who do any kind of work with, energy or healing, anything like this, please be aware that not only are you aware of what's going on with you, but you're also aware of what's going on with people around you. Okay? So you have to ask, is this mine? Is this overwhelm mine? And if it is not yours, you cannot change that one. The one that is not yours, the one that you're not creating in your life, you can't change that one. So you're going to have to return that to sender. Return it to sender. And then the more you return to sender, the easier it will get, okay? Now, the other thing too, because overwhelm is a feeling, it's one of those really sneaky thing where you think it's one thing, but actually it's another. So you say you're overwhelmed, and you look at it, and you look at it, and you look at all the judgments, and you lower your barriers, you be present in your body, and you look at it, and it's not changing. Possibly it's not overwhelmed. Possibly it's either you're creating something different, but it's so different than what you thought it was going to look like that it looks like overwhelm. Or the energy that you're being, ladies and gentlemen, is now so big, so different that you don't recognize yourself, and that's where you call it overwhelm. Oh yeah, I know that one well. For instance, I don't know if any of you have been on radio or on TV with the big audience. I remember the first time that I was interviewed on a TV show. I think there was about, at the time it was a small community, but it was like maybe 20,000 people live in the audio, watching live, as they told me. And the energy was so big that I kept doing this. I kept looking like this with my head all the time, right? Like something was coming at me. It did feel like it was an overwhelm. But then when they told me how many people were watching the show I was on, I realized, oh my gosh, I was just aware of this really, really big energy that was coming from all around me. It was not just like this thing in front of me, that the energy was all over. So acknowledge that, because that's really cool. That's what you actually want to have and create. So if you acknowledge the energy that you're being in the world, maybe the overwhelm will dissipate, because now it's not overwhelmed. It's exciting. it's really powerful and potent. So now maybe you can also dissipate it. Okay, something else. There are people that we've been told, we go up, we go to school, we get a job, we make money, we have a family, the family grows up, goes do their thing, like we have been given this order for doing things that is like the standard or it's normal. Or so anytime that one of us creates something that is out of order, it looks like it's too much. It looks like overwhelm because it's out of order. But is it out of order, or is it just a really, really different creation? So I don't know, maybe you are raising the children of somebody else, or maybe you're paying somebody else's debt, or maybe you're creating 3 businesses instead of 1, or maybe you're traveling, you're going right across the world in the next month because you decided to just leave everything and go across the world and live somewhere you never lived before in the next month. Whatever that is, you can call it overwhelm, but that will actually take your power away. Instead, you can acknowledge that you're creating out of order. How cool is that? Pig is here. Okay. Now, I've talked for 23 minutes straight, and I think that's my maximum right now. Does anybody have any questions or want me to facilitate them on anything that they feel is overwhelming or not? Anyone? Jessica, you raise your hand. Go for it.
Hi.
Hi.
So I've been in overwhelm about like looking for a job.
Okay.
And some of the story with that is that I also don't have a car right now, so I'm like trying to figure out logistics, and the bus system here sucks.
And you've heard of the internet, right?
Yeah. You mean for like online work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what have you decided your job needs to be?
Well, I keep deciding that I want to do my business that's not working. So
you've decided your business is not working. How cool is that? So everywhere that you've decided that the business you want to do is not working, will you please uncreate and destroy all of it times a gazillion?
yes.
So if anybody's listening to this and does not know the clearing statement, you can find more information at theclearingstatement.com. Those weird words just help change energy. Okay, keep going.
I just want something that has money show up in my bank account. I just need...
So instead of work, okay, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but the word work has really heavy energy for Jessica. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So instead of work, what if you ask for money?
Yeah.
And let whatever way money wants to come your way, let it come your way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jessica, if you would want money to come, like if you would like your bank account to be increased, let's say 1,000-fold, what energy do you need to be?
Confident.
Cool. Yeah. What does that look like for you to be confident? Like what could you be doing that would make you feel confident or make you look confident to others?
I need to show up.
Yeah. How could you, you showed up today, right?
Yeah.
So would you acknowledge that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's, I've had about 800 people registered. Those who show up. You know what I mean? Like it's a very different energy when you actually do the things, not just, okay, well, I registered, I'll see if I have time. No, you show up. You make time. So how else could you show up in your life?
I want to be around more people. I think that's where
Okay,
my gifts
so
are. I don't know. This is a weird one.
okay, well, so where do you live right now?
I live with my parents.
But what town?
Or, oh, Oxnard, Ventura.
Oxnard, Ventura. Okay, so there's
Yeah.
people in Ventura, like you're not in the middle of the
Yeah.
country. There are people, right?
No.
And
Yeah.
and tell me if I'm wrong, but in that area, there's been quite a lot of damage with the fires, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
is there any organization that maybe helps reconstruct or rebuild or help families or anything like that?
I know there's a big volunteer group that just kind of came about. That's
And is there any way you could provide a service there that would actually allow you to, one, connect with people, and two, promote your business?
probably. Yeah.
Yes, because I know that Jessica offers the bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you could give 20-minute bar sessions to the volunteers or the people that are, that were at the effect of the fires.
Mm-hmm.
So what, like, now this does not look like it's going to make you money, at least not right away, but it will connect you to people, and those people know where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever way you've decided that work needs to come, would you please uncreate and destroy that times the God's done it?
Yes.
Right on good, bad, pak, on and because too of what happened in the last few months in that area, ask yourself, that overwhelm, that sense of not finding work, is it really yours?
Probably not all of it.
No, it probably isn't. So it may be smart to be return to sender all day long, right?
Yeah.
Return to sender all day long. All right, so take the time today to write down everything that you think about is required for you to have money and to have work and to make your business thrive, okay? Everything that you think is needed and required, pack and pod. So use the clearing statement for each one of those, okay? For each one of those, you're going to use the clearing statement. Now, here's the weird thing about the clearing statement. I've been doing Access for almost 7 years now. And I use the clearing statement since the beginning. I think that's the first thing I learned was the clearing statement. But I never quite got how well it works because it changes the past. So the way that the clearing statement works, there's a big piece to it, which is we go back to the point right before the limitation showed up. So wherever Jessica decided that it's hard for her to grow her business, if we use the clearing statement, we're going to go back to the moment right before she decided that. And when we do that, we actually change the limitation. We raise the limitation so she doesn't have that point of view. But what's interesting is the more you do it, you forget where you came from. You forget all the limitations. So it looks like the clearing statement didn't work because you're fine and you were always fine. The truth is that it changed so much that you forgot how it was before. But the clearing statement, it is really, really powerful tool. So when I say use the clearing statement, don't say, yeah, right, I've heard this before. Actually do it. Like really spend some time clearing every single point of view that you have. And a point of view can be, I need clients to make money. Pack and pod that. My business need to be seen to make money. Pack and pod that. I need a car to be able to meet clients. Pack and pod that. Whatever that is that you guys have decided about that situation that's overwhelming, use a clearing statement. Everything that is times a godzillion, will you please uncreate and destroy it all, right and wrong, good and bad, pack and pod, online, sports, shorts, and beyonds, okay? It works. It really works. And, okay, bye, Jackie. And also, now, look at what is it that you are choosing that is still creating the overwhelming situation. Okay, so for instance, my kid. Okay, so my kids were always late for school because I was getting up too late to help them get ready. And for the longest time, I expected them to get ready without me. The day that I realized that when I'm there, it doesn't mean that I do it for them. They actually are focused. So I got up a little bit earlier. Now they're not late for school anymore. So I had to look at what I was choosing, not what they were choosing, but what I was choosing that still created that situation. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So what are you choosing that has not brought the money to your life yet?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
I think I need to think about that for.
Well, are you choosing to say you don't have money?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a choice. If you say I don't have enough money, that's a choice. Yeah. Now you could say, okay, cool. My bank account is about to get 1,000 times bigger. How does it get any better than that? Yeah. Right? Like, choose the energy that you be in this moment. I'm a little tough when I facilitate people. People who work one-on-one with me know this. So one day I had a woman who had a sciatica. And she was like, I don't know why you're not anywhere close to me, but for some reason I have to do a session with you. And she had seen doctors and she had gotten all the treatments for her sciatica. We get on the phone and I said to her, get up and walk. And she's like, I can't. She was on the bed. She's like, I can't. I'm in too much pain. I'm like, I don't care how much pain you are. You're going to get up and walk, right? You're going to do something that you said you wanted to do. You're going to go do it. I don't care what it takes. I don't care how painful it is. So she took a big breath. She put the phone down. She got up. She took a step. It was not as bad as she thought. And then another step. And little by little, the pain started going away because now she was telling her body, wait a second. I know you're trying to tell me something, but you're going to tell me differently, not with the pain. She made a different choice. The pain went away. She got the awareness she wanted to have, and her sciatica was gone within about half a day. It had been there for 3 weeks. Within half a day, her sciatica was gone. So I'm a little tough like this. The overwhelmed part, that's you people just choosing to let the universe, this reality, not the universe, but to let this reality take over your life. That's simply because you're not choosing to be the one creating your life. If you're choosing to be the one creating your life, you're going to maybe make phone calls instead of going to see people. You're going to email everybody you know. You're going to, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it's something different. Maybe you're going to make a video naked. I don't care. Like, wear a purple cape while going grocery shopping. But like, what energy are you being today that's creating that overwhelm? Does that make sense, Jessica?
Yeah.
Cool. And it can be also a really fun experience because you could also ask yourself, okay, so what's the most fun choice I could make right now? Like, would it be to sing my heart out? Because I know, Jessica, you sing, right?
Yes.
So would it be to sing my heart out, make a video and post it on Facebook? I don't know. Like, whatever it is that really gets you going. Like, it could be writing a poem. It could be telling the world about how the bars changed your life. I don't care what it is. Drawing on a piece of paper. But whatever it is that get your body going, that make you feel like you're part of this world and you're enjoying yourself, please choose that first, okay? And then as you do this, continue to ask your questions. Okay, so what will it take for more money to show up? Or what will it take for me to be connected to more people with ease? right? Just continue as you're doing what you're doing right now. Because if you stop creating, the questions are not going to come either. Continue to create. And as you're creating, ask those questions. And suddenly the overwhelm is not there. Because now you're taking over. Now you're the one in control. Woo, that was good. How was that for you, Jessica?
I missed the question because all of a sudden my phone rang.
Right. So
I missed the lesson.
So if you start really choosing the things that are fun for you and get you going, mm-hmm. and you start asking those questions, can you start seeing like it's those two energies of you're creating and you're asking at the same time, can you perceive what that would create for you?
Oh yeah, it feels much lighter.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Exciting.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Anybody else has an overwhelming situation they'd like help with? Ooh, nice computer, Peggy. Anyone else? Mariette? Or is it Ayel or is it that gal? I never know. It's Ariel, right?
Gal is my private name.
Which
Ariel
one?
is my family name.
Okay. So anybody else has another situation that they feel overwhelmed about we can look at together?
I have something, but I don't know if it's...
Go for it.
Somehow I created a situation that I have people that doesn't speak with me. And
how cool is that? Oh, how cool is that?
And those people are people that were close to me, and I know that I contribute to their life, and I opened for them possibilities.
So people are not talking to you, and
right.
Where is the problem? I don't see the problem yet.
Because they are kind of my colleagues.
So you have to do things with them, but they won't talk to you? Is that what you mean?
I don't have to do things with them. I don't have to, but I will. I cannot really take them out of my life because we are in the same business.
Okay, so this is something interesting. It's not because somebody is doing separation with you that you have to do separation with them, right? So it's not because somebody says, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, that you have to say, I'm not going to talk to them. It doesn't go that way. So everywhere that you've decided that their choice to not talk to you supersedes your choice to have them in your life, would you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Good, bad, pardon, shots and beyond. So how could you include them in your life even if they don't talk to you?
Well, I including them in my thoughts. I mean, they're still there.
Right. So instead of your thoughts, because the thoughts are actually kind of a small thing for an infinite being, instead of your thoughts, what if you pulled massive amount of energy? So you take a lot of energy from the universe, you're going to pull it through them and then through you. So when you do this, like through your whole being, you pull massive amount of energy. The universe has plenty of energy, massive amount of energy. You pull that energy through all the people that you want to be connected to. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of energy. And then through your own being, and then you let the energy flow. Then you're creating this flow of energy. So you are helping them be in your life. Instead of like, you don't have to function like they function. So that's number one. But also, if they're not talking to you, is it possible that maybe right now in this 10 seconds, they're not necessarily a contribution to your life?
No, they're not. For sure, not for sure, but in this moment, in something in me say, I don't care.
And you don't, and it's okay. So are you judging yourself for not caring?
In a way, yes.
Yeah, it's okay that you don't care. And it's okay that they're not in your life anymore. And it's okay that you're not contributing to each other in this 10 seconds. Not everybody, like there are so many other people who I know would love to contribute to you.
The question is, so how do I react? How will I will handle when I will meet them? Because since we are in the same kind of business, I will meet them someday.
Hi, how are you? Hey, so good to see you. That's it.
But they are not talking to me.
It doesn't matter. Or you can like especially when people are not talking to you, or they're pouting, or they're rejecting you. If you do something like, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. I've been thinking about you so much. Did I ever tell you how much I love like this about you, like your eyes or your sweet smile or whatever? Like make them feel a little bit uncomfortable if you can. Just a little bit, not too much. Just a little bit uncomfortable.
No, it's beautiful. What your suggestion? It's amazing. I just totally don't see myself. The thing is about overwhelming. I become very weak in this episode.
But are you a weak person?
In relationship area?
But is that who you really are?
No, no, but in communication, yes.
Okay, so
communication, yes, I am.
Okay, so you know what? Go ahead and be weak. Go ahead, be weak.
I already done this.
Yeah, but it's just a choice, right? So you can choose to be that. You can choose to be weak, or you can choose to be something different. Like if you say, this is how I am, then you stuck yourself into that box. And now you can get out of that box. So uncreate and destroy everywhere that you decided that communicating with others is difficult for you. Bad, bon, good, bad, poc, pardonnage, pochette, symbiance. Okay?
Yes.
And that you actually, it's easy for you to be you with everyone. Would you like to adopt that point of view, that it's easy for you to be you with everyone?
I would very much love to be this person who is easy for him.
Yeah. So this is a tool I'm going to give you guys that I use all the time. When I want something in my life that I think I don't have yet, I'm going to look at everywhere that I already have it. So for instance, if we're looking at communicating with people, okay, so maybe I'm not great at communicating with, like, one group of people is kids. For me, kids were always challenging. They're always challenging. So let's say I decide I'm not good at communicating with kids. So then I'm going to ask myself, okay, do I have one memory of communicating with one child? It doesn't matter how old they were. One child that it was easy. And I know that there were some babies, for instance, where it was easy to communicate with babies. So I'll just take that. And then I'll be like, ooh, I love that. I love when I was communicating with that baby. Then, okay, who else? Who else? And who was I being with that baby that maybe I'm not being with those other children? Okay, I'm afraid that those other children are going to judge me because they're easygoing, they're casual. And at the time, I was not really easygoing. So they're going to judge me. Okay, cool. So what if I receive their judgment? Like, you work with that. You just start with where you are good, like where you already have what it is you want to have, and then work through it. Okay, so what if that was not true? What else could I be doing? What else could I be choosing? What else could I be receiving in this situation? Because if they're judging, if they're not talking to you, most likely it's because they're judging you. Do you agree?
Of course.
So if they're judging you, then you're just going to have to receive their judgment. And receiving their judgment, and for anybody who doesn't know this, receiving means that you are aware of something, but you're not judging it. So you can't judge their judgment. You just say, oh, okay, cool, they're judging me. Okay, They're judging me. Now, if you don't judge their judgment, they're still the amazing people you knew them to be before. And now you can be with them just the way you were before they started judging you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a choice. That's all it is.
But then I'm denying what I discover already.
Exactly.
About them.
Exactly. Because if you confront them, it's only going to create conflict.
Right.
But if you act as, even, it's not denying it, it's more like it's not really important. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So if you act as if that's not really that important, then suddenly they're like, oh, maybe it isn't.
Oh.
Like, you're becoming the leader now. You can be the leader of your own life with people.
What would it take?
Okay, so I do public speaking, and I noticed that I was holding myself a certain way when I was on stage. So I was asking myself a lot of questions, and I realized it's because, I don't know if you guys can see because I'm wearing dark, but I have a good little belly, a good little tummy. So I kept holding myself like folded a little bit to hide my tummy. So one day I was like, well, I want to stop doing that. It's ridiculous. So one day I stood up straight and I made a joke about my tummy. And everybody laughed and everybody loved it. And I heard about this again and again and again, how people love how much joke I make about my tummy. So I acknowledged something that people were judging me about. I knew it. I knew they were judging me about it, but I acknowledged it and I turned it to my advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to get plastic surgery or anything like that. It's just how my tummy is. And people love it now. So whatever it is they're judging you about, it doesn't matter. It really does not matter.
No?
No. Because if you give the judgment power, then you're not receiving the judgment. You're resisting the judgment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like, okay, cool, they're judging me. Okay. Now you're receiving it. So everywhere that you guys are overwhelmed by how much judgment people are projecting at you, will you please uncreate and destroy all of that times a gazillion? Right, on good, bad, pock, pardon, nice, posh, shirts, and beyond. You know, people are judging you about what they're judging themselves about all the time. So if they're judging you because you're too smart or you're too beautiful or you're too intelligent, it's what they think about themselves. Like, you're too much. And everything that bad, right, one good, bad, pock, pardon, nice, posh, shirts, and beyond. Be too much.
Thank you.
Get better friends too.
Yeah. That's what I'm choosing now. But I have this. I need to I honor her. She doesn't speak to me. Okay, so I don't argue with this.
Yeah, no, don't. Conflict never works, people. If you ever think you're going to win an argument by demonstrating your point of view, forget it. It never, ever, ever works. In fact, okay, I'm going to go even further than that. So if you would like to really, really manipulate and play with them, here's a really great tool. You can tell them that they're right.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is they're judging you about, say, you know, you're right. Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I'm too much. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm too much. Doesn't matter. You're just acknowledging what they're thinking. It's not true. You're not too much,
Mm-hmm.
but it's what they're thinking. Acknowledge them.
Mm-hmm.
And what really is interesting is it's actually so kind to do that when you're acknowledging how people are judging you. It's so kind that most people either feel bad about it and then change, or say, no, you don't worry. I'm sure we can, like, you can work on it or you can change it. They actually become helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really, really want to manipulate them, tell them they're right. It works a lot better.
But it's not about me really looking inside of me, finding their judgments, where they are true.
No, don't ever get into that game. Judgments are never true. They're never real. Never, ever, ever. They're never true. Never, ever. So don't get into the game of trying to figure out if they're right or they're wrong. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Okay?
So this is a difference between receiving to accepting.
Oh yeah. Yeah, accepting means, okay, fine. I'm too much. Okay, I'm too much. No, I'm not saying say that. I'm saying notice that they're judging. Oh, okay, this person is judging me as being too much, but that's it. Don't go any further. It doesn't matter. They're just judging you for being too much. That's it. You don't need to go any further than that.
Okay.
Okay, so judgments take a lot of energy. If you function with the other people's judgment, either for or against those judgment, you actually take your energy and you're giving it to them instead of using your energy for you. So if you ever feel tired or you feel like you don't have time to do things in your life, give up the judgments that others have on you. Like, let them have those judgments and take your energy back. I promise you, you're gonna have so much more energy.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, and you are so beautiful, and I'm so happy that you joined the Zoom today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie.
All right, we have a couple more minutes. Anybody has a burning question about overwhelm? Or would like anything?
Yes, I have.
Go for it.
I have two. I choose one of them. Or maybe they are quickies. Being overwhelmed when you're around people, with people, is there anything else to look about than just sending return to sender? If I can do that all day long, and I'm still affected.
Yes. So what are you aware of when you're around people? What are you aware of?
Oh, like everything.
Yeah. So you do realize how people are insane, right? So they function from scarcity, they function from polarity, where something is good or bad, right or wrong. They don't listen to their bodies, they don't listen to the earth. So when you are around people, you become aware of all of this. Am I on the right line? Okay. So here's the trick, people. None of this is more powerful than you. You are more powerful than everything you are aware of. Okay? So you become aware of everybody around you, all these people, they're chit-chatting, they're doing all this stuff. And it is so insane that it's like, that's where the overwhelm is really present, because it's so insane that you suddenly dim yourself to make room for that insanity. No, stop it right now. Instead, be like, oh, okay, those people are really insane. Ha, ha, ha. Like inside of you, laugh, because it is crazy how people function, right? So, wow, this person thinks that if he says those 3 words, he's going to get laid tonight. Ha, ha, ha. Or this woman thinks that if she wears glasses, she looks smarter, even though she doesn't need glasses. Ha, ha, ha. Like whatever it is you perceive, laugh, okay? And then just know that what you know and who you are is so much more powerful than any of this. You are so much more powerful than any of this. The only thing is you need to know that nobody needs to agree with you. Nobody needs to align with you for you to be powerful. You don't need to fight anybody. You don't need to change anybody. You just need to stay you, be you. So imagine this. You are total space, your ease, joy, glory, your love, your light, all of that. You walk into a room full of insane people. Now you start being aware of all the insanity and you laugh, but suddenly the insanity becomes this loud noise, right? So here's what I'm going to suggest you do. You take your space, your light, your energy, and you go above and beyond. So not just in the room with insane people, but you go above and beyond to surround the whole earth with your energy. So you expand out to take over without having to say a word, but your energy becomes much, much bigger. So those little groups of insane people can be around. It doesn't matter. You're the ocean, they're drops. They're just little rocks in the ocean. You become the ocean. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
It was totally what I needed to hear. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Yeah.
Is it time for a second question?
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Even thinking of making a choice makes me overwhelmed because I have a record of burnouts and overwhelm for my whole adult life. It's like my system is wired to go overwhelmed just by thinking make a choice.
All right. So first of all, how many projects do you allow yourself to have at the same time?
I try to cut them down, but I know I function better if I have many things to do.
So that's the first thing is because the way you asked your question, it felt like you can only make one choice. You can make more than one choice. So let's say that one of the choices you want to create art, and then the other choice is that you want to make a lot of money, and for some reason you feel like those two don't combine together, then that's fine. You don't have to combine them. You can put the art in one place with one project and a lot of money in another place with another project. So you can have both choices. And did you know, like there are no conflicting choices. There are only choices disguised as decisions. So what people do is they decide something. When you decide something, you cut off anything that does not match that decision. When you choose, you include everything that could contribute to that choice. So make a choice. Don't exclude anything that you think does not match, because everything can contribute to that choice. Everything.
Yes. I don't.
Mariette?
Yeah.
What if you did not make any choice? Don't make any choice.
Oh, then I'm gonna die.
Exactly. Well, okay, so are you gonna die, or are you actually gonna choose without thinking about it?
Ooh, that gives me a panic attack.
No, because right now the panic attack comes from here.
Yes.
From the head.
Yes.
So leave your head out. Like, don't think about it. So
but
what for
the reaction in my body? I freak out.
Okay. All right, then I'm gonna give you what I give my kids at night. Count. If your head freaks out, give it a job. Okay? So count. Like I tell my kids at night, count to 1,000. Like, occupy your head. give it a job. Come up with original baby names. I don't know, like just give it a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then while you give it that job, it's too busy to choose, to decide really, instead of you choosing. And then you can just choose with your body instead of your head. Because that's the one that's overwhelmed is the head, people. Your body, your being, they're not overwhelmed. Just the head is.
My body cannot be overwhelmed. Did you say that?
Yes, that is true. Your body cannot be overwhelmed.
Wow.
Because your body is very, very expansive. It can expand.
Oh
It's
my
your
God.
mind that gets overwhelmed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And nature is a great way of also getting out of your head. So if you ever feel like you're too much into your head and you have a hard time getting back into your body, go walk in nature. Just go touch a tree. Go smell a flower. Walk in nature. Just doing that will allow you to reconnect more easily with your body. Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for those beautiful questions. I loved it. Thank you. Thank you. You guys are amazing. And I'll be making more of those because I love making those. So, you know, keep in touch, stay in touch. And you can watch the replay very soon if you need to. But thank you so much for who you be in the world, because without you, my world will not be as beautiful as it is. Mwah! Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.